Good afternoon. My name is Cherokee Rebello, and I want to thank you for coming July 5th, 2019, while I talk about the negative effects of social media and how they far outweigh the positive. Today, the purpose of my speech is to inform how social media is taking over every aspect of society, not just in our adolescent teens. Social media has been affecting us in society since about 2003. Restricting what we put on the internet for everyone to see helps decrease the effects of social media. Today, first, I will discuss mental health and how it is affected. Next, I want to talk about the lack of interaction that people have. Then, we'll talk about how it affects adults. And last, I want to talk about the opposing sides and what we can use to improve social media. So when it comes to mental health, social media can have a major effect on someone's mental health. It's crazy to think that just looking at a tiny screen like your cell phone can impact something like your brain. More than half, about 53% of respondents said that the use of social media sites had changed their behavior, with half, 51%, of those saying that the impact had been negative. This came from the Facebook use of anxiety and inadequacy. We can see that it's tearing apart our society. It's being torn down by our society is being torn down by social media. Those who said that their lives were worsened by social media also reported feeling less confident after comparing their achievements against those of their online friends. This also came from the anxiety and inadequacy. Mental health can also affect people's social experiences. In some cases, social awkwardness, there's a lack of social interaction, physically being able to socialize with others. It's true that many of us do not exercise our facial muscles, pretty funny to say, sorry, as frequently as we did before the age of smartphones. When you think about it, you always exercise your muscles in your body, but how often are we exercising the muscles in our face? This is a century where this affects the ability to hold their own conversation. According to the studies performed by the child psychologists, they don't know how to handle conflict face to face because so many things are happening through some sort of technology, whether that be their video games, their Xboxes, their cell phones, iPads, laptops, or anything like that. We do not know how to face anyone in reality because everything is different and everybody's different through a phone. They will use this as an avoidance strategy. We can see that children, they need psychological help and be able to assess the media and it's not helping them. Dependence on devices can make it much more harder for children already struggling socially. None of these children will learn to interact with one another as they're always on social media. Our society needs the interaction as our basic advances, such as careers, placement, and interviews, having reciprocal conversations easily. We stand in awkward pause trying to find something to say because we're not commonly or often interacting with other people, just on our phones. Children are naturally not social. They turn to their screens to interact and they won't practice face to face. But all these negatives are not just children, we've seen them in adults too. Children are not the only ones being extremely affected, it's in adults too. Young adults are not putting their complete focus into one thing, but instead putting it into two or more things because media is so addictive, consistently looking at their phones. Dr. Cantor is a researcher, and he knows how the brains cannot focus on two things at once. Our brains do not have the capacity to fully focus on our attention on two or more tasks. But instead, multitasking causes our brain to quickly switch from one thing to another. So-called multitasking is really switching tasks rapidly rather than focusing on one thing and then focusing on the other, which causes mistakes, misleading, and errors to happen. As social media has become common in so many people's daily routines, and as multitasking has become a lifestyle of sorts for many younger people, researchers have tried to assess how humans are coping in highly connected environments, and how chronically multitasking may diminish our capacity to function effectively. Again, this came from Dr. Cantor, who's a researcher in social media and distraction. Though there are many bad and negative outcomes to social media, we do have some benefits and improvements and positivities that have come with it as well. On the other hand, some might say social media has been a great effect on society, which I agree. That social media is a great way to stay in contact with long distance family and friends. Being able to know what's going on in one app from across the world is completely okay. America says that social media is helping education in the community. Students who may be reluctant to speak up in class are participating in book discussion blogs, writing in real audiences. There are new web tools emerging all the time that are enhancing learning media, and that's not bad. I think that's a good idea. But on the other hand, they receive benefits from laptops and iPads in school, but these are really cost effective. iPads are helping children with autism become more social, help raise self-esteem to encourage expression. Children comfortable socially. Technology will not change their ability to interact. They will use this tool as a way to get more social. I believe it all has to do with how much time we are allowing. Some will agree that social media may not change the way someone interacts with someone else, but only help them. So anyway, in conclusion, we can see the negative effects far outweigh the positive in society when it comes to social media. So society is lacking in many ways, like social interaction, because the media they have access to. But the good news, it's not too late. We can teach people empathy skills, teach them to look each other in the eye and interact with one another, and forcing children to use their imagination beyond the screens will advance their development. Young adults have trouble focusing on things that are important because social media is such a distraction. People's mental health and the way they think of themselves is changing in a negative way with the overuse of social media. Children's aggression is lashed out at home, being taught into schools because of the negative media exposure at a young age. Restricting and keeping an eye on what we let our kids watch and how much time and what they're learning on the media will greatly affect the upcoming society for the good. Teens feel as if they are missing out on something important when they want to see their friends post something on social media. What is needed is more people reassuring teens that it does not matter. Just think of how much the world would be such a better place if social media was not the main focus. We want to be the thing that is changing the world, not media changing us. I want to thank you again for joining me today on talking about the effects of social media on a society as a whole. Have a great day.